We didn't hear much about this story. Something happened in Memphis, Tennessee, and you would think at first glance, when I read you the headline of this story, you would think that this would be a headline all over the country, but it wasn't. I find this to be interesting because of the reason why it's not a headline all over the country. So Fox 13 Memphis, let me read you the headline. It says, man accused of firing shots outside of Jewish school identified. What happened is a former student at a Jewish school in Memphis, a disgruntled student, obviously a psychotic student, tried to open fire. He was an attempted mass shooter. He tried to commit another school shooting, which you would think would be on the news. You would think that, I mean, think about what happened when the Nashville Covenant School shooting happened. This was all over the news, as it should be. This is a horrific thing that happens when it happens. But you didn't hear about this, and it's not because he wasn't successful. It's because of why he wasn't successful. Thank God this deranged former student wasn't successful. He fired some shots. He ran away. He fired some more shots. Police were called. Police chased him down. He fired shots at police, and police returned fire and ultimately killed the guy. But the reason he wasn't successful was because this Jewish school had very tight security protocols. They had very tight security protocols that deterred this would-be shooter. So the reason you're not hearing about this isn't because the atrocity was averted, it's because of why the atrocity was averted. The Democrats tell us that the solution to mass shooters is gun control. Gun control is a euphemism for taking guns away from us, law-abiding American citizens. Obviously, criminals don't follow the law, so why would they follow that law? You're never going to be able to completely de-gun America. So if gun control passed, the situation in our country would be all criminals would have guns and no law-abiding citizens would have guns. It would be awful. It would be worse than anarchy. It would be tyranny. And yet the Democrats don't want to arm schools. They don't want to harden schools. They don't want to make sure that there are security protocols, metal detectors, locked doors, only people beeped in who have permission to be beeped in, security on staff, cameras. They don't want schools to be hardened. They claim they don't want schools to look like prisons. Apparently, they prefer schools to look like graveyards in many of these cases. And so when the security protocol at a Jewish school worked, and the fact that this is a Jewish school is pertinent to the story because the Jewish community has faced violent anti-Semitic attacks for a long time in our country. And Jews took it upon themselves at their Jewish schools, at their synagogues, to harden their institutions themselves so that they don't face these massacres. They have armed security at school. They have armed security at their synagogues. And thus, they don't face the same sort of mass shootings or the same sort of successful mass shootings that other schools that have bought into liberal wokeness suffer. And so you don't see this headline. You don't see this headline anywhere that an attempted mass shooter was averted. Thank God these children's lives were saved.